Hey, everybody. I'm so excited about this episode with our wonderful, fantastic Rockstar member, Colette Enemark is here with me. How you doing, Colette?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. And just being in the moment with you right now, I'm so excited. I don't even have like an agenda really about what we're going to talk about today. Of course, we're going to touch on these important things of our health and our fitness with nutrition and our strength training and all that fun stuff. But I'm really hoping to dig into some real deep stuff that I feel like is very important for most women to kind of reflect on when it comes to the influences that we had in our lives. What's the reason we feel the way we feel about ourselves and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just happy and excited to bring you on because oh, by the way, everybody listening, she is our Rockstar member, Rockstar Spotlight of October. So Colette, again, just thank you so much. I'm going to just start off right here, where you can just give us a little summary of who you are, where you live, what you do. Tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. Well, as Anna said, my name is Colette. I was born and raised in Santa Cruz, California, which is along the central coast of California. And if those of you are familiar with the Monterey Bay or San Francisco, I'm about 60 miles south of San Francisco, a part of the Monterey Bay, which is an amazing marine sanctuary now, which is awesome. Okay,
Oh,
so
cool.
I love where I live. The redwoods come right down to the ocean, so the ocean and the sea and the water has always been a part of my life. Let's see, I obviously lived there through high school, or not obviously, but I did, and then went away to college, Chico State, which is in Northern California. And after being there for 4 years and getting my master's in speech pathology and audiology, I moved back home to Santa Cruz and actually got a job in what I majored in, which is super exciting,
Yeah.
at a local school district. And I actually worked there for 37 years and retired 2 years ago.
Amazing.
So yeah,
Wow.
just,
Wow. Not everybody gets to
retirement's
do what
awesome.
they like. Not everybody does what they went to school for. So that's pretty darn
Yeah,
amazing.
well, I mean, and they say like the average person has maybe four different, professional occupations in their
Yeah.
adult life. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm I'm not on that curve. I'm somewhere over here.
Yeah.
Um,
You're an outlier for sure.
yeah, and I'm grateful. I absolutely loved what I did and just loved my students, and my colleagues were incredible. But once my colleagues started being, young enough to be my children, I thought, okay,
Oh my goodness. I can
It's,
imagine.
or I'm starting to work with my former students' children. It's like,
Oh,
okay, it's
wow. Yeah.
time. So, yeah, so now I'm enjoying retirement and just wanting to make sure that I have a healthy, fit body so that I can continue to do the things that bring me joy, which the list is long. So,
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your family life.
okay. Let's see, born of two parents that were both of Armenian descent. So there was quite a bit of the Armenian traditional expectations within that household. I'm the eldest of three children. Um, and I, I kind of chuckle when I say this because I guess I was a feminist before I even knew that was a thing, because I was constantly challenging my father when I was noticing inequities based on gender. And boy, oh boy, I was, in trouble a lot.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Disrespecting, yeah, authority and those sorts of things. But in the background, my mom was always kind of secretly, cheering me on because she was pretty much under my father's thumb. And I don't mean that in a rude, disrespectful way. It's just what they knew. That was um,
Their culture.
their culture,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So, and my mother was not born in this country. She was born in Tunisia, which was a French protectorate at the time. And the reason why her family was there is they had fled Armenia and Turkey during the Armenian massacre of
Wow.
1915. So that's how their family kind of ended up there. And then that's where she was born and eventually came to the States at the age of 18. So very conservative, strict, high expectations, traditions. Um, uh, and I feel like a lot of pressure was put on the women to be a certain way, to look a certain way, to behave a certain way, to do certain things. And and I wasn't fitting into that mold. I was like, don't, you know, don't
Square
box.
peg, round hole.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I don't mean any disrespect. I'm grateful for those traditions, but I also feel that somewhere along the way, a lot of those expectations have how do I word it? I think mainly when it came around to appearance and how you should look and what you should say and what you should do, really uh in a negative way shaped some maybe not so healthy habits that I created later on in life. So
Mhm.
I guess that's where I was going with that. But very loving parents. I mean, my father never missed a swim meet. I mean, he knew all my time. I mean, he just always knew everything that was going on in terms of competition. And that was another thing in our family. It was important that we were athletic and did those things. So I ran cross country and track and swim team and water polo and was riding horses in between all of that. And then when I went off to college, I didn't plan on being on the swim team. I just happened to be in the pool swimming, and someone saw me swimming and said, "Oh, are you on the swim team?" And I said, "No, no." And, "Well, you should try out." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm not good enough to be on a, college. You should try out." So I tried out and made the cut. And it wasn't because I was this awesome swimmer. I think it was just because I was coachable, or at least that's what they said.
Yeah,
And that helped with a really positive mind shift in me when the coach said that to me.
right.
You're comfortable. So I was like, oh, that's a good thing. Um, and my swimming career went off the charts after that. I just was like an open, this raw piece of material that they molded into something which I felt for me, I did amazing things for me.
Awesome. Yes.
And
Love it.
I carried those lessons with me later in life, especially when I started coaching swimming. And I just remember how powerful having an amazing female coach as a role model really impacted me, and try to hang on to those positive things when I'm working with uh, younger folks.
Yeah, for
Always
sure.
trying to make sure I say the positive things and do the right things. And, words are powerful things and you can't take them back. And I've learned my lesson the hard way too many times. So I'm just trying to be way more impeccable with my words when I can. So,
Yeah.
um,
I love, love, love this story, especially your background, family, and all that. Is it okay with you if we kind of set that aside for a moment? Just real, because that's what I really want to talk about. But
okay.
I don't want to skip over. Tell us who you are today as
Oh,
far as what you're doing today, just real quick.
so today I'm 63 years young. I have a daughter that's 32 that gave birth to her first child, my first grandchild, 8 months ago. And
Congratulations.
so that's been really fun to when they're here because they live in Utah now. So it's fun
Okay.
to be a part of that when I can be. And I love to exercise. I ride my horse as much as possible. I'm very fortunate to live out in the country and have some acreage so I can have my horse at home with access to trails so I could just climb on and go whenever I want. Uh,
Beautiful. I love it. I love when you share those videos inside of our group in Rock
oh,
That Fitness. I love seeing that. You're riding your horse through the woods and through the
the woods are on
trees.
the beach,
So
and yeah,
cool.
it is. And
It's beautiful.
it's really a gift, and I feel so fortunate that I can do it. And it's really important to me that I maintain some sort of strength and endurance so I can continue to do it, because it truly brings me so much joy. If I'm in
Yeah.
a funk and I go out there and brush my horse, I'm just like, okay, I'm
Mm,
back connected, and
yeah.
so anyway, so I love to do that. And I've already mentioned exercise. I swim when I can get access to a pool. And I'm fortunate that one of my colleagues still works at the local high school. So she's always like, it's my prep period, get over here and
Awesome.
you know,
Awesome.
swim a mile, get it done. Um, I love to scuba dive and I love to do underwater photography. That also just brings me joy. And I feel it's important to be fit to do that. Um,
How
and
fun. All of that. You share those pictures, those videos.
Yeah.
I just love, this is one of the things I mentioned when you answered all of our questions inside of Rockstar Spotlight this month, and just the zeal you have for life and adventure. I love that. That's probably why we vibe, because I just love all the things that you do. And so thanks for sharing that in our group. I love it. Very
Thank you.
cool. Can we go ahead now? I want to kind of turn this back to what we were talking about, because I find this really fascinating on a personal level because, as you may or may not know, my mom is also an immigrant. She's actually to this day still not an American citizen.
Oh, wow, okay.
Um, she's going to work on it, she says. She's 72 and she's going to work on her American citizen. It's funny. So she did not grow up here in this country. She's from Spain. But I think that one of the things that I feel like there's our mothers play such a huge role in the way that we think about life and how we've been programmed to think about ourselves, and how that's projected in our lives and what we do and how we go
Mm.
about our daily living, especially in our younger years and as we continue into our adulthood. And then if you're I guess if you spend time being mindful and growing inside of yourself and your personal development, there comes a place where you start to look at it all and go, oh, so that's the reason that I feel this way about myself. Or yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So can we talk about that? I want to dig a little deeper into your personal story with your mom, and how you feel like it was like two things. There was a huge strength in there, but at the same time, there was a weakness. Can we talk about that?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Where do you want me to start?
How about we start with the weakness part? Let's go there.
I think, the my mom, although she pushed me to be the best that I could be, was also highly critical. And I think that even as I'm watching her age, she's still with us, thank goodness. She just celebrated her 88th birthday a couple days
Oh
ago.
wow, and she's still critical.
She's still critical. I
I
mean,
love it. I get
just
this.
trying to plan her birthday party, and then,
Oh my goodness.
the kids are trying to do it, and then she had to step in and tell us how it's all gonna happen, and okay, okay.
Oh, I feel this so
So,
hard.
my sister and I were in the kitchen going, "Yeah, she criticized this and then that, and this wasn't right," and but anyway, happy birthday, mom.
Yes.
So so,
Yes.
okay, so there's no filter is what I'm seeing. So as she gets older, most people lose their filter. Well, I think her criticism to me is becoming more and more intense. But what I mean by that was, it just was always, I always felt as though when she saw me, I knew she loved me, but there would always be this other comment that would be made. Like if I came home from college, oh, you've gained weight. Oh, you've lost too much weight. Oh, your arms are too big. You should stop lifting weights. I don't think that swimming's a good thing for you to be doing. And, and just all of these things. And I'm thinking you take it in, you want to please, but at
Yes.
the same time, what am I going to sacrifice if I'm always pleasing somebody else, or if you take that criticism in, and I take it in and I don't have a healthy way to release it, and so I'm still trying to learn about boundaries, and how when someone says something like that to me, how do I not internalize that, and then have it manifest into something that's super unhealthy.
Yes, I can
And
understand that. Yeah.
so I guess where I go with all of this is, we talk about what am I eating, and how many calories are coming in. And for me, I need to take a step away and go, what's eating me? Because
Yeah.
I need to dig a little bit deeper and find out why food, or undermining progress that I've made, is a way to, why do I sabotage myself, and trying to dig down into that, where does this come from? And I think I kind of know, but I haven't figured out how to resolve it. And so that's another area that's
Well,
uh
in our moms, they play such a huge role when we have that bond, especially if you have a mom that's been there for you in your throughout your life. That bond is strong. And of course, from the time you're born until it seems like forever, there's always something in us that wants to please. We want to be validated.
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but I find this for myself that even though I have come to a place of boundaries and healthy boundaries with my mom, and I see what's going on and the reason that I grew up feeling with this low self-esteem, um, and I feel like I have come a long way. I certainly have not arrived and have it all figured out either, but it's like I can have that boundary now, but that part of me never seems to go away. Like I still want to please. I still want her validation a lot of times. I just don't realize it. It's like a
Right.
subconscious thing. In fact, Ron will tell me if she's around and she says this or that, and like he's like, did you even see that or hear that?" I'm like, "No, I didn't even notice." I'm so
Yeah.
used to that constant
Yeah.
negative and
I
criticism. It's like no matter what I do, it's not good enough. Even though I know that that's her and that's her issue, but I
Mhm.
still, I'll share something with her, but then you get that negative boom.
Mhm.
But I don't notice it in the moment a lot of times, but sometimes I do now. I'll be like, "Oh, so that's what you think. Okay."
Yeah.
you know but yet it's definitely a process, but we are so programmed. But what you just said to me is a huge thing, that you are actually aware, and that's when change can happen, because we can't change anything that we're not aware of. So now that you're aware of that this is actually something that has impacted you and is impacting your health and your nutrition in a negative way, now you're aware. So now what do you do? I love that. And do you want to talk about that some more? This is
Yeah,
interesting.
no, I do want to talk about it. I think I sometimes have answers and then, or I'm going on a right path and then I get insecure, like, well, no, maybe I don't. So,
Right, right.
and I don't want it to appear as though I'm out fishing for compliments to help me feel
Sure.
better about myself, because that is, that isn't it. It's just, what's the root of this low self-esteem? And I think a lot of it gets placed on physical appearance, and um, I need to find a way to shift from that and realize, the people that I have in my life that love me aren't in love with the exterior, they're in
Yeah.
love with my heart and and how I am with them and how they feel when they're with me, right? It's
Yeah.
what's that saying, people don't remember what it is you say, but they always remember how you made them feel.
Yep.
And so they stick around because I guess they feel good when they're with me. Or
You're
hey,
making them feel good.
yeah. So
Yeah.
um so I don't know. It's a hard one, Anna, because I think we have been so programmed to, the external needs to look a certain way. It needs to be a certain size. It needs to, have a certain shape to it. And it comes to us in the form of magazines. The media is crazy. Social media is crazy with how everything should look. And so I still, even though I know most of that has been photoshopped or whatever, I still get hung up on it, like, I don't have the perfect figure and I shouldn't be wearing a swimsuit. People shouldn't see that. you know? And it's like, well, wait a minute. Being in the water brings me joy. Why should
Yeah.
I sacrifice my joy because someone might have to look at my cellulite? So I'm getting a little bit better about that. But
Yes, I think
ah,
that's so important, and we talk about this a lot in Rock That Fitness with our self-esteem, and women tend to have a comparison-itis, comparing
oh,
ourselves with other women's bodies. But the bottom line is you have your own body, you have your own genetics, your own
mm,
shape to yourself. Like this is where we don't realize, like you said, what really matters is how you feel, like physically how you're feeling. Are you able to do your daily activities and fun things and adventurous things that you love to do with the energy that you need to have to do those things?
mm,
Seeing those kind of progress things, and also giving yourself some wins, especially when it comes to the nutrition. But the whole thing here is that realizing that comparisonitis is just a negative road. There's nothing to gain from it, and there is no such thing as perfection at all.
yeah,
Even these women and these people that we see, those messages that were coming in, a lot of those, like you said, they're photoshopped. They have all kinds of things going on there. Even people presenting themselves in a way that's not real and authentic.
Mhm.
So that doesn't help us to focus on that. We have to, like you said, shift the focus and say, like you said, I love that you just said that. When I'm focusing on what people think about looking at my body and looking at my swimsuit, me in this swimsuit, when I focus on that, I'm not feeling happy about what I love to do.
Mhm.
So, but that is key, that awareness right there. Because when you notice that and you're aware of it and you get uncomfortable, that's the only way we change. We have to get uncomfortable. Okay.
Mm.
So then you go through that, through the motion of enjoying what you're doing in spite of what anybody else is thinking or seeing or whatever. It's like get in that moment with yourself and enjoy what you love to do. And then, of course, those thoughts are still going to creep in because you're like, oh, you're right. You're gonna have this thought that, oh, I'm going to get
Yeah.
uncomfortable. I'm going to focus on what I love to do. I'm
Yeah.
doing this for me. We
Yeah.
only get one shot at this life.
Ah.
So good for you that you're recognizing that and you are taking steps and being aware. Can we talk about this a little more? Do you have anything you want to say about that? Because I want to go into
No,
something
I was
else.
just just adding to it to myself that I have to remind myself that every day I thank this body. Thank you,
Yes,
body. Thank you, body, for taking me and getting my 10,000 steps in today. Thank you, body. I just went and swam a mile. Thank you, body.
absolutely.
I just threw, a 50-pound saddle up on my horse's back and climbed up there and rode for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Thank you, body, for it. And just like, this is the package that I have right now, and I'm still going to do the best I can to keep it functioning and healthy from the inside out. And so I just
Right.
keep thanking it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also, like when you said the comparisonitis, or however we say
Yeah.
it,
Comparisonitis.
comparisonitis. I think another tool that's helping me that I'm just learning is when I see that, instead of comparing, I should just say, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
And just like release, like, gosh, that's so great. Good for her.
Yes.
And just it's
Yes.
so empowering, because then it's not competitive anymore. It's propping that person up instead
Absolutely.
of, and so for me, what I get, the release I get from that is positive instead of negative. So sorry,
Yes.
those are
100. I mean, 110%, because being able to do that, you're right. It's empowering. But here, because we all have our insecurities. Even the woman that you see that looks like she has the perfect body,
Mhm.
she doesn't feel perfect. She has her own, in her mind, her own flaws, what she feels
Mhm.
about herself. None of us has this perfectly, we feel so great about ourselves 110%. No. So that's right. We ought to be lifting each other up. How much more powerful that is, right? There's strength in numbers
Right.
when we're coming together and we're like, yeah, girl, you look great, and just lifting each other up. I love that. The power of positivity is incredible.
Mhm.
And we are fighting off the programming that we have been brought up with,
Mhm.
which, by the way, as a side note, something to just be aware of as you're continuing to work on your personal development. This brain that we have can be reprogrammed, but we also have to recognize that the programming that's there, all those little pathways that our neurons have created throughout the years, that's still there too. So very possible to be heading down this road feeling amazing, doing great things, and then for whatever reason your brain's going into these other pathways that you used to be in, and you're in that place again. You're down those roads, right? But to be aware of it, now you are. Okay, we're going to redirect and we're going to get back into our healthier habits that
Mhm.
are aligned with my goals. And then as you continue to repeat that and repeat that, you are reprogramming. So it's, to me, it's so empowering to understand that your brain is also a part of you that you can develop and
Mhm.
change and
Mhm.
grow. It's not, you're not, what is the, you don't have to live your life as a victim of your
No,
programming. You can reprogram. So it's
absolutely.
it's part of it's part of becoming stronger on the
Mhm.
inside and being aware of the thinking, because we have, as humans, we're mammals, like we are going to have that fight or flight instinct.
Mhm.
And so we have, this is getting kind of scientific, but I think this is so important for all of us to recognize, is when you understand these fears that you have, all that is your sympathetic system kicking in to decide, do I do I run? right? Or do I fight?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a protective mechanism that your brain does. It's normal and healthy.
Right.
It's part of protecting you so that you can live. But when you're aware of it, how much power you have, because you're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, these are just thoughts. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not in the jungle running away from a lion right now. It's a thought, and
Mm-hmm.
I have control over this. You can step back, take some breaths, and do something about it, and understand that that's also part of our growth and our strength training in our mind. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm talking about? Because
Yeah.
when we can do that, then we can get our parasympathetic system in place that's just like rest, relax, digest.
Well, I think that RTF, for those of you that are maybe new to it or just not part of the program yet, but you're, listening, the beautiful thing about this group of women is they all prop each other up. It's all positive. It's all, you're doing great. If you're having a bad day and somebody posts like, oh, whatever, everybody rallies around and kind of supports you and says, hey, it's just a moment in time. We got this. We're here for you. Reach out. And it's what you've created, Anna, is just so lovely and supportive.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. But the thing is, and yeah, I started this, but it's grown into something that I had no idea. It's
Mhm.
continuing to grow. And
Right.
it is a beautiful thing. I'm so grateful. I am beyond words honored, privileged. And,
Mhm.
all of the women in here, it's like this, there's this, there is this energy that is feeding off of, we all feed off of each other. I don't feel in my mind like that I'm up here. I feel like we are all together,
Mhm.
working, getting through life together, helping each
Absolutely.
other. And so
Yeah.
when we do post in there together and share these feelings of like, yeah, you can do it. It's not like I use this word a lot. It's like Pollyanna
Yeah.
positivity. It's
Yes.
real. I mean,
It's yeah.
we're talking, okay, you're struggling because you overate in your mind how you ate over the weekend. You feel horrible about yourself and you're just talking about it. It's like we all have this.
Yeah.
You missed all your workouts all last week. You're beating yourself up. These things are real feelings, and it's okay to share them, because then they lose the power, right? When you talk about this stuff, it sheds a light, and the power that it has over you, that toxic feeling,
Right.
starts to just kind of dissipate, because you're like, oh, I'm not alone.
Yeah. I'm not alone. And others are reaching out to say, hey, don't let it own your day. Don't,
Exactly.
don't let this one meal or four meals or the three workout, don't let it own the rest of the week, the month, the year.
Yeah,
It's
get
just,
back on track, girl. Come on, you can do this.
yeah, and,
Just
and,
get
and
up.
yeah, so it's more than fitness and strength training and nutrition. I feel that it has expanded beyond that, and you're looking at the whole person, the whole body, your spirit, your soul, your heart, all of it.
Right,
And
100%.
yeah, and celebrating all the little, for me, my whole thing is, I'm wanting to see that number on the scale. Like, why isn't it just, peeling? But then I look at other data, like, I'm for some reason I hang on to that one little piece of data, like that's the only piece of data that matters. But when I take a step back, as you've talked to us about this, like look at all these different ways that you can measure progress. And for me, my biggest tool of measurement was blood work and
Oh,
see
yeah.
how the nutrition has really and the exercise. I both that this perfect coupling of nutrition and exercise and fitness has changed what's going on internally. And I really need to, and here's where my mind shift, my mindset, what I need to work on is I need to give that just as much, if not more, um, a win. It should be a huge win, not just like, oh yeah, and then my cholesterol is below 200 and my blood sugar levels are just spot on. And well, that's big stuff, you
Yeah,
know
that's number one.
especially in a world where the things that are put on the shelves in our stores are not helping us in any way. So I just need to, mindset, this is big.
That is so great. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I wanted you to talk about this. Can you,
Okay.
like, I do want to ask you, tell me how, well, first of all, how long have you been a part of Rock That Fitness? And
I
tell
joined,
me,
oh,
okay,
sorry.
No, and
So
then just tell me, like, what are some things that you feel like has been progress? What are the results that you've experienced for yourself?
So I joined, I started following you on Connect through WW, and then I happened to scroll through, I want to say it was roughly springish, maybe May, where you said, this is going to be my last post on Connect. And I was like, oh my God, like a panic set in. And then you said,
Oh,
follow me on social media, and you gave us some information. So right away, I, sent you a friend request and started following you on Facebook. And then I kind of lurked for a while
oh,
you
that's
were
so
sharing
sweet.
some things. And then I joined RTF in July of 2021. So I've been a member a little over a year. And I boy, there was so much to absorb and take in, but at the same time, I loved your approach to like just pick one or two things to focus on. So that's what I've been doing. I mean, and I've just been allowing, I gave myself that first 6 months just to navigate through the process of understanding what I needed to do in terms of my nutrition, and little things like, hey, start measuring in grams instead of ounces, like what's the difference? And then you go, oh wow, that's a massive difference, right?
Yeah.
So, and then watching all the trainings, and I've rewatched them. And for those of you that are members, I just, boy, watch as many of those as you can over and over again, because I get a new little pearl of wisdom each time I listen. Um, so my wins, or things that I noticed, was, I had some changes in inches, changes in a shift in the scale, got into the habit of weighing myself every day and not letting that number totally say, I'm going to abandon all effort now and just, like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I ate some chips yesterday and they were loaded with salt. I'm sure that's where that 2 pounds came from. Oh, look, the next day it's gone, just
Yeah.
like that. It's
Yeah.
like, wow, that's pretty amazing. So, and the fitness part, I absolutely love doing the cardio and the weightlifting, and I do feel stronger. And being 63, knocking on 64's door, I'm at a place in my life where I'm sure I'm losing muscle mass faster than I'm gaining it. So I'm very cognizant of that and trying to stay on top of my protein and continue to lift weights, and doesn't necessarily mean I have to get heavier and heavier. I think the heaviest set I have are 230-pound dumbbells, and those are, I can't curl those yet. I can only do anyway, doesn't matter. So, but I'm, when I flex,
Yes.
I can feel my
Yeah.
muscles underneath this layer of other stuff I have going on. And so that feels so great.
Yeah, you
So,
can build muscle at any age, and you can like
yeah,
reverse this where sarcopenia, loss of this lean body mass. You
right,
can reverse it. This is one of the most important factors of our health span, to get strong, so that you will get strong and stay strong, so that you can take care of your daily activities.
right,
We don't realize it. We from the time we're in our 30s, we're losing muscle mass every decade, 3 to 5%. That really adds up, which is a sad, it's a sad fact when you look at just the general public of women who are aging and getting older, and how, they're getting less and less, they're getting weaker. They're not able to take care of themselves. And it's so sad to see the elderly women, they don't have any strength to take care of themselves. They can't even
right,
move themselves, and
right,
they don't have the stamina, and their bones are weak. So
right,
they're prone to breaking their bones, which strength training is also going to help get your bone density up.
right.
So yeah, it's all about that. What you said earlier, working on the health aspect from the inside out is huge. It's really what matters when we start focusing on how healthy we are, our blood work, our strength, our stamina, our energy.
Mhm.
All of these things are going to play into our health span and quality of life. And the fact is, when you build these healthy habits in your life daily and it becomes your lifestyle,
Mhm.
then the scale is going to take care of itself. You will eventually be losing fat because you're doing these things that you need to do, which,
Right,
if you're not, you still have all these other great results, other great outcomes from taking care of yourself, which is feeling stronger, having more energy. Yes, maybe you're not at your where you want to be in terms
Right.
of the shape of your body, but that's okay. You're working on that, and we have tools for that. Like we know what we need to do
Yeah.
to get
Yes.
there. But it's
Yeah.
not an obsession of feeling horrible about ourselves. It's an obsession about caring about our body for ourselves.
Right. And I think another win, as I'm listening to you say these things, and I just had this little like epiphany, if you will. Okay, so I'm going to compare. But at 63, my mom was not going out for a 3-mile jog or a
Yeah.
1-mile swim or riding a horse,
Yep.
or
There you go.
and going down 100 feet in the water. And, so I have to like take a step back and go, look at all these things you're still doing, you know?
Absolutely.
And go, okay, so the package may not be what you think it should be, but my goodness, this body is still serving you to do
Yes.
things that bring
Girl,
you joy. And
that's
so,
right.
yeah, so hey, man, I'm almost 64. I can still go run 4 miles, and I
Hmm.
whatever. It's not fast, but hey,
No, it doesn't matter. What you said matters, like that you are able to do all these things. And I understand that little comparison because I think the same thing about my mom when she was my age. And as she's aged, and any of, it's a small, very tiny, sadly, but the truth and the fact is, it's a small percentage of people in general that are able to live out the rest of their lives with healthy activity. I mean, we've got people in their 70s, close to 80, or even in their 80s cycling still on these cycling groups. That's
yeah,
going to be me, girl. I want to still be
yeah,
cycling when I'm older,
absolutely, absolutely,
I want to keep doing everything I'm able to do until I die. And
yes,
it is possible if you take care of your health.
yeah.
So,
I hear you, amen. And that's that's kind of become priority now. It's like I just still want to be moving and doing things, and
and
and like you said, all of these things that build your bone density and whatnot. I look at my mother, and she's, oh yeah, osteoporosis runs in our family. Oh, not me, mom. Guess
that's
what?
right. Thank you.
Bones are dense, babe.
Yeah, you're a rock star, girl. Oh, it reminds me of my mom when, like, I think it was like last summer or a couple of years ago. I don't even remember when, but I'm like, look, I have abs. I lifted up my t-shirt. I'm like, look, I have abs. And she's like, oh, women should not have abs. Women should not have abs.
Exactly. She
All
sounds just
right.
like my mom.
Okay. Well, I have abs and I'm a woman.
Yeah, women should not have muscles. That was the thing that she was saying. Yeah, same thing. I come
Right,
home,
right.
I'm lifting weights, I'm swimming competitively. I mean, I was swimming like 8 miles a day. I mean, just some crazy because I was a distance swimmer. And she's like, "Oh, your arms are just too big and they're too defined and they're too this." And I'm thinking, God, I wish I had that physique now, just that muscle definition in my back and all of that. But, so circling back around to the mom stuff, like you better get an education and be able to take care of yourself, make your own money, all of these things. And at the same time, be a great cook, keep your house clean, always have the perfect little, be a size 6 or whatever it is, that's supposed to be and it's these,
It's unrealistic.
it's
Bottom line.
unrealistic.
It causes all of this feeling of not good enough, basically.
Exactly. Yeah, and there's the source of my, as much as I love my mom and she really pushed me to always do my best, but that is the source, or part of my self-esteem issues, because I just never felt I was good enough.
Well,
And I
you
have
are. You're darn good. You're darn good enough now, and you always have been.
and that my takeaway from a lot of that too, though, is as I became a mom,
Yeah.
I really made an effort to never ever, and I'm sure with you, Anna, like you learned that lesson from your mom, and you did not put that crap on your kids.
Right.
And I call it crap because it is a bunch of crap. There's some
It
good
is.
stuff there, but it's just like, why do we need to, uh, you know, um, it, mess with their minds?
We can break that cycle, and it is a cycle because it goes from mom to mom to mom. And I think of things like, if I do something for my child, my girl, my daughters, or my kids, there's no strings, which I grew up with strings. Look what I did for you. I did that. It was always a string. I didn't want anything
Yeah.
because of the strings that were going to be attached. So that's one of those things. I don't put strings on my kids. I do what I do because I love you and I want you to have this, or I do this for you because I love you. There's no strings. I'm not
Yeah.
expecting anything in return for that. And yeah, the whole thing, loving yourself, take care of yourself, stay active, and set the example of eating healthy, and helping, because it is a natural thing. I think even it doesn't matter, male, female, we all want to do our best. We want to feel good enough. So
Mm.
feeding into that, like feed into, celebrating all of the wins as much as possible and not focusing on the negative. Like there's enough of that in the world, right?
Right.
Just
And
lift people up and focus on the positive. That's what we need to do.
make yourself a priority. And the problem with me was that was not acceptable to make
Yeah.
yourself a priority,
Right. Right.
right?
Yeah, because
Like,
that's selfish.
yeah, that's what was, like, oh no, you gotta, put everybody else first. And I don't think I realized any of that till I was 50, where I was making my little list of, in my daughter's eyes, what's her list of priorities? Well, it would be herself and then me and then her father. And then, for my husband, it was himself, his his daughter, and then for me, it was like my daughter, my husband, and then me. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm on the
Yeah.
bottom
Yeah.
of everybody's list, even my
Hey,
own.
but no, but that is such a common, most women feel this way. I talk to
Yeah.
women all the time, like in messages, Instagram, Facebook, wherever, and it's like they feel guilty for taking the time to take care of themselves first,
Right.
which really taking care of yourself first is the best thing that you can do for everybody in your life.
Because you can't pour from an empty cup, people.
That's
And
right.
that's what I'm learning. You can't pour from an empty cup. And so I'm just, I mean, even on the airplane, put your oxygen mask on
That's
first
right.
and that help.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's
I
a
mean,
hard, hard thing
it's
to take
it's
in.
it's hard when you've been programmed that way, but when you start taking the steps and changing and
Mhm.
repeat, rinse and repeat, it
Yeah.
does become easier, and then life becomes, I think, easier because you have your boundaries, you're taking care of yourself. Those
Yeah.
people who don't respect your boundaries, well then, you know what? Do you really want them around anyway? Like you can kind of distance yourself and not have that in your life as much. And
Right.
the people who respect you and have, respect your boundaries and lift you up and encourage you in the things that you love to take care of yourself, those people are allowed. Come on in all you
Yeah.
want.
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
know, and the exercise thing too, like, yeah, sometimes there'll be that, oh, I don't know. But come on, whoever did a workout and then afterwards said, God, I wish I hadn't done that. It's like, no,
You know,
you
you don't
feel
regret it.
great afterward. You're tired, but those endorphins, and it's just like, I'm so glad I did this. And then for me, especially if I do it in the morning, the rest of my day is just awesome. It doesn't matter what you throw at me. I got this because I made myself a priority and I feel good. So I'm not going to let that, bring me down. I'm my own worst enemy though. The head that, like you said, the programming, I got to rewire some of the negative chatter that goes on in there. And I'm
How do you
still
do
working.
that? How do you do that? Or how are you working on that?
I, when I hear it, I stop and then I try to find the positive. Okay, like I look in the mirror and if I've got well, okay, I'm going to rewind. One of my biggest challenges was when you said you need to post some progress pictures. And I took some progress pictures, I looked at them and I deleted them all, right?
Okay.
So the next time I did it, and I did it, and then and I posted them, and that was a really hard thing for me to do.
Hard.
After I did it, I felt lighter. And then when I looked at myself, I started the negative chatter, and then I just went, wow, but this body is allowing you to do these amazing things. And I made that mental list of the things that, I did that day. Gosh, you got to go for a walk on the beach. You got to stick your toes in the ocean.
Right.
Whatever. And then started that ritual, especially at night, of just thanking my body all the way down. Thank you, brain, for helping me, da 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 da. Thank you, hands, for allowing me to, prepare that nutritious meal, and so on, all the way down.
Yeah.
And
Gratitude will change everything. That's awesome. So important when we're thinking negative thoughts. And man, and that is something that we do in Rock That Fitness. We encourage posting your progress, but nobody's forced to do it. But it is very empowering when you are able to get uncomfortable and post that, because this is the vessel that we have been given to navigate through our lives. And so we're here to say, this is my body. Like you said, gratitude for what our bodies can do. I think about that every single time I'm out running or lifting or riding my bike, I think about how many people do not have the ability. I should be so over the top happy and thankful for what my body can do for me.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes. So anyway, this is getting longer than I expected, and it's okay. You didn't do it. We both did. We were having a good time here. But I want to wrap this up. I want to especially just thank you so much for taking the time out. Thanks for being our rock star in the spotlight this month, Colette. You're amazing. Keep on inspiring us in the group. Keep on. We need to see some more pictures and videos of what you're doing because that's why we
Okay.
do what we do with our nutrition and our fitness, so we can live our best rock star life out here, all the daily things.
Finding joy
So,
in the little things. Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Would you say to a listener out there that might be struggling right now with, yeah, with their self-esteem, their nutrition, their fitness, or just anything? What's your message you want to give before we kind of close up?
Oh boy, that's a
Come on. I know you can inspire us. Let's go.
I think that you should believe in yourself that you can do it, and just find one tiny little, don't give yourself this big ginormous goal of things to do. Just baby steps. Find one little thing and celebrate the joy of completing that task. And it doesn't have to be something that I lost a pound. It could just be it's just something simple like, oh, I went for a lovely walk today and I visited with my neighbors and it just felt so good to be out. And then build on that and just keep, like there's a saying out there, like the heaviest weight at the gym is the front door, just go, just
Yeah,
open the door, just that little act of doing that and build on that habit, and then just keep adding and building on that, and you'll just keep finding joy. At least
I love
that's
that.
for
Yeah,
me.
just start, just get to a beginning. And what you just said when you said believe in yourself, it's so easy for people to just throw that around. Believe in yourself, believe in yourself. Well, how do you do that? You do it just the way you said. You
Yes.
take little baby steps, because little by little, a little becomes a lot. So perfect. I love how we're going to end this. So just get started, whatever you need to work on, little by little. Thank you,
Little by
Colette. You're so
little.
awesome. I appreciate you so much. And we better get ready. We got a Zoom call to go to
All
here
right.
in just a second.
All right.
Love you, girl. We'll see you on
Love
the
you too.
inside.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.